higher earning potential, and we can have all things we want, desire, needs, and help others, why can't she give me the salt of life?
But it also can apply to the males if you want to lay around the house and have your woman do all the work. That can apply as well.
Welcome to Date, Affirm, The Real, our live podcast talking about today's relationships and its effects on us all. Please welcome our hosts, Marcus Goodwin and Don aka Junior Lee. Let's get real.
I just got to finish jamming to the little intro, man.
That was tight beat there, yeah.
Yeah, DJ J Diggs be doing that thing.
Shout out to J Diggs.
Mm-hmm. If I ever in my life get some rhythm, I'll be a son of a gun.
He'll put James Brown to shame, huh?
I got the looks, I get the gab, now I just get some rhythm. I'll be like a black James Bond. You ain't ready for this. Indeed. So, happy Monday, brother.
Happy Monday evening, sir, or afternoon to you.
Oh yeah, afternoon. I'm here in this coast island of Hawaii.
Yeah, you got the Maha cocktails flowing. Get you.
Yeah, I'm rubbing in your face. I'm here on business though, so I'm not here to have a good time. Yeah. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
So tonight, bear with me. Tonight we're gonna talk about love, loneliness, and companionship. And hold on, bear with me, Don, because the reason I chose this topic.
Okay.
It's been coming to me left and right about what are we looking for in our future relationship, especially as you get older. Because I'm 48 years old, about to hit 49, and the reasons I choose for a relationship is not always the same as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, what's important to me when finding somebody or what I'm looking for in somebody is not the same with somebody else for the same reason. Not necessarily the qualities, but the reasoning.
There you go. Yes.
You know, and when I chose the title Love, Loneliness, and Companionship, because those pretty much might be, in my mind, are the three reasons people are looking for a partner. And those three don't always coincide with each other. Meaning, you have love, loneliness, companionship, because we're not maybe looking for one and then next to the other. Maybe looking for all three, or maybe we just looking for 2 out of 3. And I want to break this down and see how everybody else is thinking about it. I want to see how you think about this. And what's going on? Is it a bad thing or just indifferent?
You're bringing up a great segue here. Love, loneliness, and companionship. There are those out there that are looking for love in all the wrong places. And then there are those that are experiencing loneliness because they cannot find love or what they are actually seeking. And then there are those that are seeking companionship and do not want to get attached with love. And that is very interesting because I feel as we get older, that thought process can change. As I'm getting older, I'm looking for more something that's stable, something that can be defined, something that can be established. Love checks all those boxes. But there was a time in my life where I did experience loneliness. And I thought to myself, was that because of my own doing, or was it because I just didn't find someone to fit what I was seeking? And then that companionship, you're a young buck out there trying to get it on. So I do feel like there are phases when these may affect us the most. And they may all coincide and they may not. This is what we like for the audience to come in and engage with us on how they feel.
All right. So, with that being said, you said something to me I didn't realize.
What's that?
Love encompasses the companionship and defeats the loneliness. I want to say yes. There's a part of me that says no.
Okay. Talk to me.
It has to be love mutually. A relationship with one is in love and one is not in love. If one is looking for just a companionship or combat loneliness and the other one is actually in love,
Mm,
does it fulfill everything for the other, the one that's in love? If I'm just looking
mm.
for that to be lonely and she's in love, am I really giving her the companionship she needs? I just
Wow.
need somebody to be there.
You hitting on something there because what is the stigma that's always reverberated? You can grow to love them over time. And so it may, for that person's benefit, may start off as this is just a companionship, even though I know that she may be in love. For me, it's a companionship. And then maybe the tides turn 10 years into the situation and now he's in love and she's grown tired of him not appreciating what she was giving in the beginning and she could fade away. So this is very interesting as how we're stating it because I don't think there is a cookie cut approach. And as you indicated, there is always something different pertaining to the person and then pertaining to the relationship as to how they see it.
So, yeah, let's stop right there. We talk about that. I don't want to call it bullshit. Learn to love someone. You
Yeah.
know, can it happen? Yes. Is it likely? Possibility, but I don't think in my mind can I really learn to love somebody. I mean,
That's not
it might be true because if think about it, arranged marriages a lot of times they work.
over time. I mean,
You had to learn to love.
you browbeat them down to the point they kind of just give in, because they gave up on their own per se choice of doing things different, and just for the sake of saving an argument, they may give in, and but then even with that, is that true love? Is just a
So,
falsification of loneliness, not wanting to be lonely.
yeah, so it may not be true love. So learning to love might be bullshit. But that's something we may discover and talk about over time because that learning to love, it could be feeling the need for a companionship
Yeah.
or the need to stop being lonely, which the title is Love, Loneliness, and Companionship.
Hmm.
If I'm, okay, let's say I'm looking for a partner and I
Yes.
want the partner to be stable, financially stable, um, well, let's say financially stable. I'm not going to say, let's say I want the partner to have, you just go somewhat traditional. I don't want my
Yeah.
partner to be able to cook, clean, and raise the
So
children. I mean, I don't mean to sound chauvinist, so I'm just giving this is an example.
okay.
I meet a lady who fits those things, and I may not love her, but she can hold a decent conversation.
Yeah.
We can work, and we know how to work together to get some stuff done. But I'm not in love with her. She a cool friend.
Mm.
You're a friend of mine. Hey, you know, instead I can go instead of me to come home and giving her a kiss, I can say, "What's up, partner?"
Mm.
But it's a companionship.
Ooh.
Matter of fact, let's look here. I'm gonna throw a definition at you real quick.
Okay.
Let me pull it up real quick. Companionship. When you're dating for companionship, it consists of the presence in their lives of someone who shares experiences with and combat the feeling of loneliness without necessarily seeking a deeply romantic or passionate relationship.
Hmm. Wow.
So,
Yeah.
like I say to you in our private conversations, sometimes men wait till the last minute to look for relationships, and they look relationship for a companionship. And what I mean by this, in this case, what I'm referring to, when you 55, 60, 63 years old, and your health is breaking down, and you look to your right and you look to your left, and the only thing you see is your left shoulder and your right shoulder,
Mm.
and you need somebody to, you know, help you out, get well, hell, wipe your ass.
In pretty bad shape.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
but now those are things you're looking at when you getting older. Like, okay, I've played around most of my life, over half my life. I played around. Now
Yeah.
I'm looking for somebody to be my companion for these tough times. I ain't necessarily. I'm not looking for love. I'm looking for a companionship.
Hmm.
We looking who am I taking the battle with me of old age?
Yeah.
You know.
That's an interesting way of first of all, the definition was right on point, and then the way you're explaining it with someone looking over their shoulders and that's all they're seeing. That's very interesting, and then I'm just trying to think back to situations that I've heard or situations that I've been in and try to bring some relation to this as I've heard conversations of females saying they only want a companionship as they've been in love and experienced the heartbreak of it. So, well, I guess at this segment in time, this is what they're seeking, and they do not want to for it to become that deeply emotionally involved just because of how drawn out that process can be. And then on the other hand, there could be a situation where the person is seeking love and the person say, I don't want that. And then you, out of the sake of not being lonely, you choose to do it anyway, knowing that it's a possibility you could be played for a fool. But people still jump into those beds and into those scenarios and let it play out to see what the what if scenario may be.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying. So a lot of people, you said women, but I'm gonna say a lot of people have either for a brief time thought about it or have given up on the idea of love. Even I have at one time said, "Man, fuck love." You know, that comes through little hurt. It is what it is. It's a little heartache, and we start using more logic and no heart.
Mm,
You know, as you know, when we love somebody or we're dating somebody or we're falling in love with somebody, we use our heart, but we also have to temper our heart with logic, common sense, intuition, and things of that nature.
yeah.
But the idea of not looking for love anymore, it goes to a lot of people's mind, especially as we get older. If it wasn't for my wife, maybe I might have got. Never know. I might have said again, screw love. Because I don't want to be old by myself.
Yeah.
Maybe I just want a friend. You
I
know.
think to not to cut you off there, but that last part you indicating that someone again, we're not generalizing any gender here. We're just saying someone is seeking a friend. Would that be because they have not experienced that true love, or is it because of the fact they do not want to experience the heartbrokenness of the previous or prior experience? Because I don't think people give up on the opportunity of being in a relationship, because that's just the human nature of it. We want somebody, we want to feel close, protected, secure, even have an emotional bond. And sometimes that comes with a price when someone's not reciprocating that or respecting what you're bringing. And I think out of spite of that, we may say, F love, but in the
Mm-hmm.
long term, your heart becomes softer and be like, okay, I'm gonna give this another chance. And I think we have to go through that process in life, because if everybody hit it on the first time, there will be no divorces. There will be no bad relationships. So
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's just that the hurt, like you said, the first time. Think about your first breakup,
oh man.
man. It had you bent over in the bed, like,
I
oh,
think I was probably what, 16,
man,
17. This is the end of the world, right? I'm done. Stick a
Or
fork in me.
let's talk about something even not necessarily after your first breakup. Let's talk about the breakup you had. Follow me on this one. The breakup that you had with a woman, and you get back together. You break up again. You get back together. Break up again. Each time you break up, it hurt a little bit less, don't it?
Yeah, I could say that. Yes,
You know,
theoretically speaking, yes, I could say that. And with what you're stating, the is it because we keep going back? Is it because we're seeking emotional intimacy with that person, or just is it just a physical intimacy because we need to get it off our chest per se, right? We don't want to be lonely this weekend or uh, whatever.
okay. So let's talk about loneliness. You
Okay,
know, I got tips for that.
go
When you
ahead.
oh shit, and then oh, it's coming.
All right, line it up, sir.
Yeah, you know, I'm a little slow. I'm a little slow in the draw sometimes. It's the unwanted feeling we experience stemming from the absence of connection.
Mm, man,
You know,
that's that drunk text at 4 a.m. after hitting that bottle all day. You just lonely, man. I gotta let
yeah.
me call such and such. I
Let's
need
talk.
that
Let's talk about
physical
it.
connection.
You're talking about, and it manifests itself into a physical connection like that.
Yeah,
But that loneliness is a need to fill a void that you feel you have. You know, we just got past Valentine's Day,
mm,
and there are a lot of people who didn't have anybody, and they seen people buy flowers and gifts and showing that off, and that need for a partner can make you sometimes make bad decisions. We stop looking for love. We looking for the fill of the void that we wanted for love, and the bad part of this we ignore, as we like to everybody say, toxic signs, the things that's not good for us,
the
just the
circus
void of a loneliness.
could theoretically, the commercialization of one day cause those that are lonely to feel more detriment to the fact that they don't have anyone, because you're seeing, as you just indicated, you're seeing all the cars, all the flowers, you're seeing the commercials going out. You can't get a chair at the restaurant because it's, well, you should have reserved, and you're like, I'm just trying to get something to eat.
So
Because if it's out of sight, out of mind, you probably, nah, I'm lonely because I'm not thinking about it or I'm not trying to get involved. But then you experience this commercialization where it's in your face constantly for at least since after Christmas. You go to the store, it's already been put up January 1st. And it's like, damn, shit, okay.
I think it's more of a magnified. It's there. I think it is magnified or
Okay.
amplified.
Okay.
You know, because certain things can be triggered. Going around somebody who's with their partner, and you come up and you with them. Now you're the proverbial third wheel. The people you with may not think about it like that. They don't
Yeah.
know you're not third wheel, but you start feeling that. You feel that
Yeah.
loneliness,
Yeah.
that wanting of what somebody else has. I so real talk. I experienced loneliness even at younger ages. Even to being a guy, I I always been more of the relationship build. Even though I did my dirt and dumb shit, I still had that more of a makeup that way than other. And when I wasn't in a relationship, especially long periods between relationships, I felt that loneliness. You know, wanting what other people had, that wanting then that desire to, hey, I want to call somebody, I want somebody to check on, I want somebody to take out. And when you find somebody who you willing to do that, then you like, that's not the right person, but you tend to ignore it and don't care.
Hmm.
But as much as it's hurting you, as long as they trying to feel that need that you or that desire that you want, I think that's the way of putting it. You use them to feel a desire, and they're not necessarily feeling your need.
Mm. Wow. That's very interesting. Because you hit a point there. There is a time, and I think in everyone's life, where you have that glimpse of loneliness, and it can make you feel some type of way where you feel like, okay, I have sat within myself and healed myself long enough. I think now is the time that I should approach dating or approach just going out and socializing with others to see if there is someone of similar like mindedness, and the attempt to build on that foundation can be established. And but I do feel sometimes those paths get crossed with the expectation is I'm going to go out, meet somebody tonight, and tomorrow we're in a relationship and everything is going to be perfect. And I'm just throwing that out hypothetically. But I've speaking with individuals and just try to get their input, and it seems the expectation is because you're meeting someone in a public setting and talking with them and having a good vibe, and you may have a several more conversations, and the assumption can always be taken incorrectly that now we have a companionship that will lead to love, and all we're doing is having conversations to try to see if there is any compatibility. And I think within that conversations needs to be had as to what are we attempting to accomplish here, because it can be presented up front, and then you get a clear understanding of the person's purpose, or you get a clear understanding of that ain't it.
Right. And one thing I want to add about loneliness, real quick, when you're lonely, and if you're not careful, you are vulnerable.
Explain that.
Oh, real easy. I told you I ain't always been the most upbeat person.
I got you.
But we have, especially, a lot of guys. I'm talking from a male point of view. We will take advantage of someone who feels lonely.
Vice versa,
Yeah,
you can be
and
taken
use it
advantage
for
of.
physical advantage. We will take their loneliness, and what we do is damaging more people again. I know
Yeah.
we. Oh, if you look at I'm gonna include you in this mistake. If you look at our history, we damaged some women before.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
we don't.
I can definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah. And sometimes, no, not sometimes. A lot of times, men will take advantage of somebody's low self-esteem, and they feeling, and they while they feeling loneliness.
Mm.
So you have to your loneliness. You have to make it harden. I should say. You can't be vulnerable to loneliness. You can feel lonely. That's a natural feeling. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But you still have to protect yourself.
Yes, yes, you do. And the reason I say that, I agree with you, is let me throw a tidbit out here. So there has been situations in which I've been involved with women in my past, and the thought of it just being a physical intimacy or a companionship turned out to be me being their emotional intimacy for that moment in time. And sometimes I didn't catch it until either after the situation, because of my loneliness, I decided to accept the vulnerability and fall into the trap as you're explaining here, because I'm lonely. I was like, why not? What the hell I got to lose? But there's always something you're going to leave behind. You can't go into a situation and not have something left behind. So I had to learn that in trial and error experience, um, wisdom, all those come into effect. And it's like, I don't have to participate in those acts anymore. If even if I am lonely or single, you don't have to participate in that, because you're just giving into the desire of temptation, right? Like you're stating here. And you can be left feeling worse off in the long run than what you think you've accomplished in that short term point in time. So because now you're more loneliness, and now it's almost like you're feeding an ego, because you're like, okay, well, I wasn't satisfied with that, so let me get back out there and do that same thing again in hopes that
Mhm.
it finds some type of satisfaction. It doesn't.
Yeah. So, bam, you said something, and I'm gonna tell you another way. From a male's point of view, when a male feels lonely,
Yeah.
they tend to be a victim of being taken advantage of. When I mean
Okay.
not necessarily physically, but let's say if I'm lonely and I have a kind heart, I'm very very easy to take advantage of, and
Okay.
I've been there. So you can get my money, you can get my time, you can get my resources without with the other person not having no kind of emotional interest in you.
Yeah.
You know, you are with the proverbial boo boo the fucking fool.
Mm.
You know, or when you put your cape on, it
Yeah.
could be a sign of loneliness. You know what I mean by putting that cape on?
Oh yeah. You're pretty much advertising the fact that, I think, whatever the situation is, you're advertising that you are willing to buy into that that companionship for the fact of, preventing the the loneliness. Because you think about that, if a guy's like, well, it was always thought of, if a guy wasn't handsome enough, but he had money, he can buy himself a date or a companionship, right? And then you pretty much tricking yourself off doing that. But they say if you ain't tricking, you got it right. But I think that was the way he said that. But
Don't act like you don't know about it. Don't
I
play
don't
with
know. I
me.
don't know nothing about it. But and truth of what you're saying is, you're opening yourself to be played. If we're going to keep it on the real street about it, because you are allowing yourself to be put on a pedestal for those to see, and then those out there with devious ways are like, okay, he's got the money. Let me go get it, because he's willingness to be deceived for the fact of companionship. Someone's going to play that to a T. They're going to put that thing and tee it up. So you got to be careful,
Yeah, and so let's talk about the loneliness factor. And when you entering or you're searching for a relationship just to fulfill the spot of loneliness. So I'm going out in this dating world. You know, any way you date, because I'm lonely, and I have to make sure one, it's nothing wrong with that. I have to make sure I'm at a mentally and emotional intelligent space to date with the loneliness factor as my motive. So I won't be taken advantage of. I'm not here to say that we all should date for love. Not what I'm here to say. I'm not here to say you shouldn't date because you're lonely. I'm not here to say you shouldn't date for just companionship. I'm just looking at the different aspects of it.
Okay.
Um, when we date, as you know at DAR, we want to say you want to date yourself first. You want to love yourself first, and this will help fortify, your mental stability or your emotional stability, so you can date properly if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, you're not everybody's not meant to be in a relationship. What I'm saying is, when you're going out here doing this, know how you we're doing it properly, as in knowing the reason and not being blinded by emotional things. And if we talk about for companionship, let it be known. I think you should let it be known.
When
That's
you
my like.
say let it be known, could you just specify that? How would you let that be known? Because that's interesting.
Yeah. So think about a dating profile,
Okay.
and you saying all these things. What's things on your list? What's high priority?
Okay.
I may say if I'm looking for companionship, I'm not necessarily love is great, but I'm looking more for somebody to be my companion in these later years or for the rest of my life. And I need to establish what does that look like? Because the other person may be on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah. I do see now what you're stating in the form of a online profile per se, online dating. Yes, that can be established through what is stated or quoted. Take that to face value when you just walk into a bar, a club, or a lounge, and there is no beforehand social media page. You're walking in as you're seeing someone, and you strike up a conversation. And just again, hypothetically, we're talking between men and women, and the men starts buying the lady drinks, buying her drinks, and his loneliness within his vulnerability can say, I bought you those drinks. Therefore, I think other things should happen. In her mind, she may push back and say, no, I'm not that lonely and I'm not seeking companionship. I went out for a nice evening, and those wires can get crossed if that is not upfront and discussed. And how could you discuss that? You're just having drinks because the man is buying them, and you're seeing that the bartender is pouring them up without any nefarious ways. So it's one of those conversations that could be taken the wrong way if some type of message is not presented to let the person know, hey, I'm just here, to enjoy the evening. I'm not expecting anything out of it.
Okay, I think they should say that, but the dumbass fool that buying the drinks and expecting her to go with him because she buying drinks. That's his dumb ass fault. If you
But
buy, so you buying drinks as a gift, and yeah, you trying to show impress her or whatever, and you think that's always gonna work. Hell, that means I can save my whole check and just go to the bar and buy fucking women drinks and go through it, get me 5 women in a night. That's the dumbest shit ever.
you're right. However, when you stated before the mentality of a person, you got two different individuals that are leaving the house at the same time. They just so happen throughout the universe, they magically meet up. The expectation of one is going to be different than the other.
Hmm.
And that conversation somehow needs to be put up front so that the expectation won't be taken differently. However, in the same time, the guy has to understand that if you're buying drinks, it's not a gift. It's you are being generous or you're being a gentleman in that moment. And you just buying drinks because you was gonna drink anyway, right? You're at the bar. You talking about you come here with $20? Come on,
So, short answer,
sure.
because you know I'm on one now. That dumbass fool, he needs to go buy some pussy and take his ass back home. He can go find a prostitute, whatever, back page or whatever, and take it buy a little coochie and take his ass back home and go to sleep. That's the only way he's gonna fill that void with that dumb shit he's trying to do just because I buy you drinks. You should expect it. That shit is antiquated and dumb as hell. I ain't gonna promote that with somebody with that dumb ass shit. Keep your drinks to yourself, damn it. Shit. Man,
Oh man.
buy her some water then. If you wanna shit.
Come on, man. It should be like you not
And
buying my friend one too. You know, you gotta
whatever.
buy her drink and her friend drink. Come on,
This is why all the motherfuckers lonely.
man. Oh, but you bring up a good point here because I want to take it a little bit further uh, in how men seek companionship outside of romantic relationships. Because if a guy's single, he can go to a bar or club or lounge, and he is seeking a conversation to thwart that loneliness. Just a conversation, right? I'm sitting at home all week, work 5 days a week, may not have any kids, family may be out of state. Let me just go down here and just have a conversation to thwart the loneliness. I can only read so many books, right? Write so many pages to thwart the loneliness. And from that conversation, shit, things can happen, right? Plenty of movies have been made about that. But then he is not expecting anything, but is it because he's given into the vulnerability of the loneliness that could cause a different outcome?
Okay. Hmm.
Let that
Let it marinate in some
marinate a
bacon.
little bit on the back stove.
Hmm. You got me on. Say one more. I got repeat that. Yeah, hit me one more time. I think I missed a
Sure.
word or something.
You know, single guy, works 5 days a week, family out of
Okay.
town, he has no kids. He probably has an established career, he's a corporate man, so he's putting in the time, he has the money, he has the status. To combat loneliness on the weekends because he doesn't have anyone, he go down to the local bar, club, restaurant to have a conversation, not seeking any type of romantic companionship. The person that he's speaking with, whether it be a woman or some other guy, may find attractiveness into what he's talking about and may be willing to combat his loneliness with some companionship. Should he buy into his vulnerability? Or should he say, you know what, I'm just gonna sit this one out, knowing that he came down just for a conversation and not seeking any physical intimacy. I mean, you're single. You gotta swing for the fence somehow. How do you expect to even get to the point where you're having someone where you can have companionship or love if you don't swing for the fence to see
So
if there's even a possibility of a connection?
yeah. So one thing about your scenario, I think this hypothetical person, his is not. I don't think it's just loneliness. I think he just want to fuck something on the weekend.
Not necessarily.
Your loneliness, don't necessarily you just want to go on a weekend. That's just how it kind of sounds to me. Her need companionship, and they strike it off. If he was truly lonely, I think that person would seek to speak to that person more. Because when you're lonely, you're not just looking for that weekend. You're looking for that 7 days a week. When you're lonely,
Okay.
you're you're thinking about wanting to want somebody. You're wanting to want somebody. When you're lonely, you think you sit there and lay in the bed and you get to imagining shit like, damn, it sure is cold outside. I'm making a home. Like I want to make a home for this other person. When you're lonely, you start thinking about things that you might have done wrong, or something, or you think you did wrong in your past that you probably never did even did wrong. When you're lonely, you start thinking and contemplating, and things get screwed up sometimes. When hell, when you're lonely, like I said, you get all discombobulated. Like I said, I've been there. That loneliness,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I agree with you, but let me ask this question: is
okay.
the loneliness when the person is thinking of it, is it because they have brought it to their forefront of thought, or is it just always a subconscious feeling because you're single? You know, wake up in the morning like, okay, I'm lonely. Lunchtime, I'm lonely. 6 p.m., I'm lonely. Again, from that previous scenario, the guy's going out because he's confident enough to have a conversation at a bar. He's not. He shouldn't be sitting at home. Well, I'm lonely. I need to get out. Because to me, when I was single, there were spats of time where I have a brief thought was like, okay, well, I am lonely, but it was never always a conscious thought. Well, I'm lonely. Let me get out here. It was more as, well, I'm gonna go through my daily routine. I'm going to enjoy life and the moments. If you meet somebody, you can establish a connection and see if there is any longevity with that. But it was never, well, I'm lonely. I never thought that. I mean, maybe somebody else thinking differently and could probably share those thoughts. I mean, you indicated you had some idea of that loneliness, but to me, it was never a constant point of topic. It was 5 seconds. Ooh, man, I was. Yeah, let me get it. Let me do something else and go to the gym or something. Right?
Where I'm
What was I
at,
thinking, man?
our egos. A lot of times, and, I understand. I've been like that too. I've been lonely, and also had times when my ego like, man, fuck all this. Get it up, fuck it off. But all
Yeah,
you
we
do,
do
and
have.
honestly, all you do is masking the problem.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely correct.
It's gonna manifest in a different way. So
You're definitely correct.
Kia says, I think men lonely and women lonely is different based on this convo.
Yeah,
It probably, and we can only speak from the male point of view, and what we can do is listen and try to understand a woman's lonely, lonely,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, they're both the emotion, and we need to be able to recognize. You know, we're not no thing. We're not a therapist of this, but we don't want. Also, we don't want to. And this, I don't know how to use this properly because I am not the DAR therapist. Shout out Shamika.
indeed.
It's not a trauma bond, but a lonely bond where we'll bond over loneliness. I think that's scary if you're not wise about it. You're lonely, I'm lonely, but we're not really good for each other. Remember, I just told you earlier, being lonely learns to mask different things.
Okay. Following that, does that loneliness does that loneliness affect the fact of you needing a partner versus choosing the right partner because of that loneliness? Because you just say if that person is lonely and you're lonely, then it's like, well, we're gonna be lonely together, right? So would that affect you making the correct choice when you're seeking that love, or even not even seeking love, you just want the companionship? Because you can have companionship and it still be the wrong person, doing crazy shit.
Uh-oh. So I think, like Kia says, it's awareness.
Okay.
If you're aware of, I know I'm lonely, but I'm still seeking a relationship, and I'm aware that I'm looking for somebody, but awareness to know that I should still recognize flags. I still should recognize somebody who's not meant to be. I am not meant to be with.
Yeah.
I have to have the awareness to know that, yo, just because I'm lonely, I ain't a fool.
Yes.
Like I said earlier, men being lonely can play the fool.
Yes.
Um, and I think that's important. I'm not trying to be a play a fool when I'm being lonely. I'm looking to fill that void. So if you think back to our title, love, loneliness, and companionship,
Okay.
all three of those can be a void.
Mhm.
Companionship, it's the void. I need somebody to be there, to be by my side. I'm not necessarily looking for romantic or a deep emotional connection. I'm looking for a kind of a ride or die,
Someone who's trustworthy.
trustworthy, who handles business. But like I said, I don't may not like I said, I may feel that's more important. I could be faithful and loyal to somebody I'm not in love with because I can find that the companionship is a higher priority among anything else.
Yes.
The fact that knowing that, hey, yo, she got me. You know, I could, if somebody was if I was in a, heaven forbid, I was I don't know, fall ill in the middle of a store, she'd be the first one running. Like, oh, I'm at the hospital. I'm taking care of this, and this. I got this in order. Boom. I'm here. I'm gonna get you home. We're gonna get you well.
Yeah.
And health at our age is the number one reason for companionship. In
Mm.
my opinion, that's my opinion. Because I'm thinking we need when it's hard to walk up them steps sometimes, or you want to be able to help each other.
Hmm.
As you get older, you need a partner. Then after companionship, guess what might set in? Then maybe that loneliness will set in after you're not able to find that companion. May even set in more. Think about it.
Mm.
Like, because this what's gonna happen. I'm 67 years old. I'm single, and I'm sitting there. This is just my scenario. All the time I wasted.
Mm.
That's one. Two, all the ones I let pass that was good for me. How many? So I'm asking you a question. How many women have you had or dated or been in a relationship with that you wasn't in love with that you was not in love with, but was good for you?
Man, don't have me pull out my abacus here, man. I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
calculate that. You are
Calculated.
correct. Because people can come into your life at a certain point in time where you cannot recognize their value or their worth. Therefore, you are using them to fill your void of loneliness and your companionship, and they are truly trying to love on you. And you're just not reciprocating that. And that plays out when the person sees that you're not the one for me. I've experienced that. And to answer your question, yes, I've experienced that many times over. And I may have that brief moment of reflection, but hey, you can't put the milk back into the carton once it's spilled. You just roll with the decisions you made, and you establish the next relationship you're in, if that is the case, and you make that the best one ever, if that is the one that you're going to ride with, right? You can't say
So here,
what if after the fact that you was in it. I do think that, but I was in it, and I screwed it up. So, or the situation didn't work out.
yeah, you can't put the milk back in the carton, but that cereal sure is dry than a motherfucker. You ever ate some dry ass Cheerios?
Man,
All
dry
right then.
cereal, cold shoulder.
I I was dating one lady. She would check every damn box there was for the perfect. I won't say perfect. Perfect strong word, but she'll check every box that you would want in a wife. But I wasn't in love with her.
Mm,
She was my girlfriend, but I wasn't in love with her.
yeah.
And guess what I did? I fucked her over.
Mm,
And I mean, when I mean fucked her over, I mean
I
I
got you. I got you. I got
I
you.
know I'm be open. We transparent. We with our experiences. I cheated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but the best thing I did was break up with her.
Mhm.
That was my best thing I ever did. I broke up with her because who was I to stop her from finding somebody who's gonna give her the same loyalty and love and companionship that she was giving me, and I wasn't
Exactly.
receiving.
I got you. You can copy and paste what you said and put that on me. Break it up with someone because I could not love them the way they needed to be loved. Because I in myself was not at a place well I could give that, and that is more stressful and I would say hurtful than a person cheating because the person wants to be loved and committed to, and you're half-assing. It's almost like
Yeah,
get up to speed, right? We're waiting. This train can't move because we're waiting on you to pack your bags. At some point, that train gonna just go ahead and leave, and you're gonna be left holding the bags. And there, I don't think they're well. But let me say, there are certain scenarios and situations in life where you have to learn a lesson. And when you get to that point where you are now the train conductor and you're holding that train up because someone else is packing their bags and you're waiting on them, there may be a way that that plays out and you understand what you've experienced before. And then you have the concept of waiting that train longer, or you just go ahead and crank that thing up and move on down the line. You get more of appreciation of the situation if it plays out a second time than from what you learned the first time because you may have not been in the right mind to understand what was going on.
right. So our biggest thing is we had to develop an emotional intelligence,
Yeah,
emotional maturity,
yeah,
and the fact that even though I experienced loneliness, and I probably would have probably experienced more so the companionship when dating, if not for my wife. At some point, I'd have went for a companionship over love. Because all right, so before I get any farther, let's talk about love for a second.
okay,
You know, when we talk about love, love is to find a partner whom we can build a deep, meaningful connection based on love, companionship, and shared values. So me being in love allows me not to feel lonely and that companionship. So when I look to my right,
yeah,
I see When I wake up in the morning, I'll see her, make sure she's still asleep for me not snoring so damn loud. But that's beside the point. But even and this is a funny thing when I talk about being in the bed, I feel that void for her of love, which encompasses companionship. Because I have been in a room, I may be sitting up or just doing something else, and I see her actually actually feeling like, where the fuck is he at? Like, he's not in the bed. Like, I could be up, she knows it. That's because I'm her companion,
Yeah.
and that's what I was striving to find when I was dating, that love factor. I didn't give up on love, or I found that at that point in time, I felt love was the most valuable thing for me when dating.
Mm-hmm.
I could say, I'm not saying companionship or love is more valuable than companionship. I'm not saying love is more important than not feeling lonely. No, this is just my
Yes.
personal opinion and my
Agreed.
personal experience. I have no problem with, at least not right now, at the point of this conversation. If you would say, I think companionship over everything is more important when I'm dating. That's your right and that's your opinion.
Yes.
You know, these are things that you always have to look at. We got to look at. Most importantly, is how we approach it,
Yes.
and
We
want to make sure everybody's on the same. The two people on the same page, three if you're nasty, on the same page when you're talking about spending a life together.
and third wheel was trying to fill that void of loneliness. But you do. The healing pen coach says here that we need more of that honesty. Yes, that is correct. We have to be honest in our approach to dating, to finding love, to even within yourself. If you're talking to yourself to feel your loneliness, you have to be honest with yourself as to what you are attempting to do, so that you won't fall to the weakness or vulnerability in that moment. Because you have to stay strong if you're attempting to build upon something. And the seeking companionship is it's for that particular person to learn and understand on their own, because there is no blanket approach to that.
Correct. And someone put you on the spot, Don.
Sure.
Love, loneliness, companionship. What's the highest on your list?
The highest, the highest is always love.
Would you be willing to forego love and just accept the companionship, or accept just not being lonely?
Let me let me give you a scenario real quick. Yes, I would answer your question. Yes, but let me explain. There
Okay.
was a time in my life when I had that companionship, if not every day, every other day, 4 or 5 days a week. It got to the point, well, that is not what I'm desiring, because it's what it is, companionship. If you desire love, you seek love, and it wasn't done out of loneliness, because this is what I also wanted to stress. If a person is confident in themselves, it's the attraction, they have the, shall I say, the natural aura about them, the charisma. There will never be a point in time where they will be lonely, because you can go out of your house, you can go to a local library, and somebody will strike up a conversation for you because they see your charisma. You just have something about you, your natural tendency. You can have a walk, you have a sway, you have a look, the way you dress, the way you present yourself, your mannerism. That person will never be lonely. Now, there are others out there who may have fallen on hard times, and they may not have the same acumen, and that may cause them to feel a bit of loneliness, because they see the world around them as a wall or something that they can't get over. If you change your mindset, sometimes that's all it takes for you to understand the concepts of life, and therefore you won't be lonely because you can have companionship through friendships, through conversation. It doesn't always have to be a physical thing. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I've experienced
Okay.
it and I've done it. But that's not what the long term game was. So I had to
So
break that off and move forward.
yeah. Oh. Anyway, so what we gonna talk about real quick? When you said something, somebody who has a break it down that I know the old word that swag you talking about
Hmm.
and that charisma. They are the I think they're the prime candidate for feeling lonely. It's not it's because you can get it's like saying you can get all right, keep it simple. I can get pussy, but it ain't gonna do nothing for me. As in my loneliness. I can get a nut, but I'm not gonna get that void of loneliness feel.
Hmm. Talk to me.
Yeah. So your loneliness is a void of wanting somebody.
Yes.
Now, that don't necessarily mean physical. And now don't get me wrong, oftentimes we'll do physical to try to substitute that for that void of loneliness.
Okay.
But but it's not a complete fit. It's like when you have a I'm trying not to be like a mechanic here, but if you put a too big shirt on, if I wear a 2X and I put a 3X on, and I go to the store real quick, I can get away with it, but the shirt still don't fit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm following you on that.
Yeah, so that's that's what I gotta get at that one. That's the only thing I really didn't. That scenario we have, I think, especially as guys, we make our feelings manifest into physical. We often, when we try to bury it, cover it up, you know, the plant's still gonna grow, but it does not. But it's gonna grow into something that you didn't want to grow.
Okay.
You planting grass, you're getting weeds. Yeah. So I think we definitely. This is where we have to be careful because just because it's green don't mean it's grass.
That's well, if it ain't green, the grass ain't green, ain't no smoking going on, right?
Exactly. You know,
Ain't
we
smoking dirt.
I don't know nothing about none of that.
I don't know nothing about that either. But yeah, you,
Well,
you you definitely do bring up a point because of someone can use what they have to deceive their own selves of their loneliness. But I believe I should have clarified my point. I was trying to stress is it's not a out of aspect of loneliness. It's just a out of aspect of that person just whom they are. I mean, not to get off the subject of conversation, but I just so happened like probably a week or so ago, I walked into Kroger's to do some shopping. And this guy come up to me. He just like, oh man, you must play for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm like, no, I'm just, a regular old Joe Smo here, right? With a blown knee out. And we just struck up a conversation and we talked about a couple of things real quick. And then we started talking about, biblical and how people can meet through faith or you don't believe in coincidences and things like that. And just the fact that he came up to me kind of reiterated what I was saying about just someone sees you and they sees your aura and they want to talk to you. It's not a sexual thing. It's just having a
right.
conversation to see where your mind is at because some type of connection brought them to you. You're not going to see that on a everyday basis all the time.
I
You
see
ain't
what
gonna
you're saying.
talk to everybody like that. It's just certain people. You just like, oh, this guy looks like he's amazing, right? He's an ex-football player, whatever, right? 6'5", 270, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah, I got you, Cam.
Cam Newton without the
Yeah,
hat.
Cam Newton. I got you. So I'm gonna wrap this up, and I want to one of the things I want to point out is the factor of us being is maturing in age is pretty much one of the things that led to this conversation.
Yeah,
The fact that as we're getting older and mature, we it seems like now we want to put our foot on the gas to get this partner to feel that one of our three choices. You know, we have to make sure either way we go to fill these choices or to choose these choices, please make sure we are ready.
that part. Yes.
We have to make sure if I'm looking for a companion, make sure I can be a companion. If I'm looking to be lonely, to feel loneliness, make sure emotionally mature enough, you know, to make sure I'm aware of the things that can happen when I'm just trying to fill a void or look and not be blinded by flags. I mean,
Yes.
be blinded to the flag.
Yeah.
I'm looking for love. Make sure I'm ready to receive love and make sure I'm ready to give it properly. At
Yes.
the end of the day, we have to communicate not only to the others but to ourselves. What are we trying to do?
Yeah.
Like I said, when I love getting older, but it can be scarier when you're doing it by yourself.
Mm. That's a good message. Say that again, sir, for the masses that's listening.
Now you had to put me on the spot. I love getting older, but it can be scary when you're doing it by yourself.
It ain't no fun if you're doing it by yourself. There you go.
So we need to, and this is what the funny part is. When I see people out there who's like, hey, they 40, 50, all of a sudden think they gonna pull the trigger and say, hey, I can do this, but I'm do all the stuff by myself and go for it. When you find out, it ain't all the good ones start being gone by the time you ready to go do it again. Don't look crazy. Wait till the last minute to find somebody, and you find yourself by yourself. That is my thought. But if
Yeah.
you like to be by yourself, go for it. Enjoy your life. I'm a clap for you. Just know what you want and just know what you want, man.
Yeah. Yes. And no crisscrossing the message, because if you can't go out here as a male or female and say, I want love, and then meet somebody and then you only showing them companionship. So that's that's crossing the path. You want love, show love, seek love, give love.
I like that.
You want to hit and quit it, then let it be known. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Like they always say, communication is the key, right?
Yeah.
Let
And
everybody know
closed mouth don't get fed.
so. And I think we addressed this topic for tonight because we can actually going on and on, but I think that's enough for tonight.
Yeah, you gotta have a stopping point and save the rest for the next message. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Hardcore Healing Pin Coach. I do appreciate the feedback.
Thank you, babe. My love and companion. You know, I'm gonna get my brownie points. I'm gonna do something silly. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do yet. I don't. It's funny because
He said he don't even know what he gonna do yet, but he gonna do something.
I screw up so much sometimes. I'm like, damn, I screwed up again. It's like,
Make
yeah,
them fries.
you kicking up dust. But how the fuck did I kick up dust? I didn't know what I did. But one of the great things about love is forgiveness.
Yes.
With
Yes.
that being
Indeed.
said, anything else, Don?
That's all I have for tonight, sir. We definitely will do this again in 2 weeks.
All right, next week we got the poet and the therapist segment. Next Tuesday, check them out, and also please subscribe. Tell anybody else subscribe and like these We on your part. Excuse me. Let me back this up. Doop, 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 doop. As I roll
Okay,
back the stuttering and all the
there you
deep,
go.
doop, doop, doop. Next
Kicking up
week,
that dust.
yeah. Next week, we got this segment, the poet and the therapist. Sharmika, the therapist. Kia McLean, the poet, of course. They come to you with the healing, the maturity, and the knowledge.
Yes.
Please go to the YouTube page, subscribe, share, like,
Like, comment.
and guess what? If you driving, you want to hear it, go to your podcast platform. We're there too. Listen to us. Make comments. We are open. We are not arrogant, but a little bit, to hear any kind of criticism. I don't care. We want to hear what your thoughts are. If you want to cover something,
Yeah,
want to talk about it, let's do it. Just share your thoughts. We share ours. Let's make
indeed.
it happen.
Indeed. Thanks for
All right.
tuning in.
And we out.
Yeah.